Parliamentarian Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca made a statement in Parliament today.
අදවම කතා කරන්නේ ගරු කතානායකතුමනි ආණ්ඩු පැත්තේ ඉඳලා නෙවෙයි රටේ පැත්තේ ඉඳලා.
Today, Honorable Speaker, I am speaking not for the government but for the people. This is the time that we should think on how do we save this country and understand the reality of the situation at hand. This situation cannot be considered lightly. This is a very dangerous situation. This does not only affect the government. If this issue is not resolved, even if your government comes into power, you will have to face the same situation. I think that we should all unite, and with the blessings of everyone in this chamber, we should face this issue. I believe that we did not take the right path after we ended the previous war. Ensuring national security is not something that should be considered by politicians and leaders of the military only when there is a terrorist attack. The responsibility exists even when there are no terror attacks. We did not fulfill that responsibility. Foreign intelligence units informed us about this. It does not matter if this information was given on the 4th or the 9th. If the information came in on the 4th, action should have been taken on the 5th. If the information came in on the 9th, action should have been taken on the 10th. Yesterday I saw on TV the letter sent to the IGP by the Director of National Intelligence. As far as we know, in the National Security Council, the Director of National Security does not fall under the purview of the IGP. The Director of National Security is under the Minister of Defence and the Secretary to the Ministry of Defence. If the National Security Council convenes weekly, this letter should have been discussed. When such a letter is sent, the National Security Council should be convened immediately. They cannot just wait for a week. So I do not think that removing the IGP would solve the issue. I do not think it's fair for this to be solely pinned on him. The fact that this letter was disregarded is a massive issue. That was a massive blow to national security. Next, the opposition leader will also remember, after we ended the war, I made certain proposals. The main proposal I made was that we should develop a network of intelligence in the country now that we cannot set up roadblocks and search the people in the country like we used to. It is through the intelligence services that the security of the country can be ensured. But I do not think that this happened. Because terrorism like this cannot be created in 1 or 2 years. The LTTE took 12 years to bring down the suicide bomb to attack Ranjan Vijayaratne. So this is something that will take place at least 7 to 8 years. There might be another 300 to 400 people connected to this, other than the 4 or 5 who died. A leader recognized as Prabhakaran has been created. A leader who can motivate his followers. So this is not something that began recently. This is something that has been in operation for about 7 to 8 years. So every government that was in power is responsible for this. We will have to humbly accept this responsibility and rectify our mistakes. Next, the Security Council, the Minister of Defence and the Secretary of Defence have neglected their responsibilities. They have been unsuccessful. No matter what excuses they make, we will not accept them. Most importantly, the people will not accept them. The people suffered the blow from this. Everyone should accept their faults. Security has become a joke to us. It is only being used to suit our agendas as and when we please. It is being used for political agendas. The Prime Minister and the Deputy Minister of Defence have not been invited to the Security Council meetings for 6 months. Is this even a country? Is there a government? These are constitutional matters. Who are the members of the Security Council? On top of that, some members from your camp have crept into the Security Council. In which country do they have members of the opposition inside the Security Council?
කොයි රටේද ආරක්ෂක කවුන්සිලේ විරුද්ධ පක්ෂ මිනිස්සුයි. ඔව්. මේවා ලෝක විහිළු. ලෝකේ හිනස්සන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් ආරක්ෂක කවුන්සිලේ කතා කරේ අශ්වරේස් ගැනද? එහෙම නැත්නම් ඔට්ටු දාන එකද කරේ එතන ඉඳගෙන. ඒක හන්ද මේක විශාල ප්‍රශ්නයක්.
These are jokes. We can make the world laugh. Did they speak about horse races at the Security Council meetings? Or were they betting there? So this is a massive issue. On the other hand, Honorable Prime Minister, I respect you. But if you're not invited to the Security Council meetings for 6 months, why were you silent? You should have acted on it. You should have mentioned this in Parliament. None of us knew about this. If not, how can you fulfill your duties as the Prime Minister? So no one can use that as an excuse. If the Deputy Minister of Defence is not allowed to attend meetings of the Security Council, what is the point of him holding on to his position? He should resign. These are not proper excuses. These are grave mistakes, and we as a government must be responsible to the people for being silent in the face of these mistakes. But if this government is to continue, the right people should be appointed to the right positions. For example, we said an administrative official should be appointed as the Secretary of Defence. There were 1 or 2 at the time, but they got tired of it later. Thereafter, relatives, friends and classmates were appointed to these positions. All of the decisions were unsuccessful. Even after this incident, I was only invited to meet the Prime Minister 48 hours later. Until then, I was not given a time or an invitation to meet the Prime Minister. I am a field marshal. I know about these things.
මම ෆීල්ඩ් මාෂල් කෙනෙක්. මම මේවා ගැන දන්නවා. මම ෆීල්ඩ් මාෂල් උනේ ගෝල්ෆ් ෆේස් එකේ කඩල විකුණලා නෙවෙයි. ඒක හන්දා මට මේවට ආරාධනාවක් ලැබෙන්න තිබුණා.
I did not become field marshal after selling chickpeas in Golface, so I should have been invited to these meetings. Is there anyone in this government who knows about security more than I do? If there is someone like that, I will hand over my title of field marshal to him. So make use of us. We do not want positions and titles. If you think that we can do something for this country, if you think we have the brains to serve this country, utilize our capabilities. We are ready to work. If we want to save this country, let's save it, or else we can stay the way we want. Appoint our own people and surround ourselves with them, having bulletproof vehicles and traveling with sirens with an ambulance at the back. If that is what you want and not the security of the general public, let's continue to be this way.
නැත්නම් අපර ඔය චූන් එකේ මෝඩ චූන් එකේ ඉන්න ඕන නම් අපේ පරිවාර පිරිස් දාගෙන වෙඩිවදින්න නැති රට දාගෙන අපි සයිරන් ගහගෙන යනවා ඇම්බියුලන්ස් උත් පස්සෙන් එනවා ඒවා කර කර ඉන්න එක නම් අවශ්‍ය ජනතාවගේ ආරක්ෂාව නෙවෙයි නම් රට මේ විදියට යන්න